Today, the Nigerian petroleum industry is currently experiencing a positive revolutionary change in terms of policy formulation and implementation. And this is in order to achieve a viable, stable, and profitable economy for Nigeria. But what are those groundbreaking giant strides in the petroleum sector to bring about the desired positive change? Let's meet with the Honorable Federal Minister of State for Petroleum, Chief Timipri Silva. The chat was quite informative and expository. Let's hear him.
When I came here, it was due
This situation significantly led to the twin problem of
the breakdown of the amount established to have been stolen and laundered.
What the federal government is doing is to provide.
You're welcome to Talking with the Minister on the Minister's platform. And of course, today we're going to be speaking with the Federal Minister of State on Petroleum Resources. I'm talking about Chief Timipri Silva. The oil sector is a major strategic sector in the country. And of course, it is better for us to understand what has been the major achievements of the government so far. So, Minister, you're welcome, sir.
thank you.
To this platform. Now, when you came on board, you had a strategic master plan. To what extent have you been able to achieve the master plan to improve the oil sector in Nigeria?
Our strategic master plan, as we came in, was structured around mandates that were given to us. As we came in, we were given 9 mandate areas, and we structured our strategy around these mandate areas. And as we speak, we have been able to tick all the boxes. We've been able to achieve all our mandates. Some of them have been conclusively achieved. Some of them are still ongoing. But we've been able to touch every mandate that has been given to us.
So let's share those 9 mandates. The ones you've been able to achieve, and where and what are the challenges?
For example, you will agree with me, just recently, we passed the PIB to law. That was one of the mandate areas that was given to us. So that is 100% behind us. The passage of the Inland Basin Bill was also a mandate area. That was also passed very early in my tenure as minister. Then, of course, you know that we also did the marginal fields program, the commercialization of flare gas also concluded. And of course, one of the other mandate areas was also the rehabilitation of refineries. We've been able to start the rehabilitation of our refineries. That is still ongoing. The other mandate area was how to curb smuggling of petroleum products. We've also been able to put measures that are stopping this activity, not conclusively. So we have been able to tick all the boxes so far. And for now, what we are trying to do is to now create new areas for us, like new frontiers for us to conquer. For example, the introduction of auto gas for our cars was not part of the mandate areas, but that is really now our focus. And also deepening the penetration of gas so that more households will be using gas as cooking fuel is also something that we decided to achieve, and we are also focused there. It was not also part of our mandate area. So we've been able to touch everything that was given to us as mandate, and we have also, in addition, created additional mandates that we hope to achieve before the end of our tenure.
One major challenge we've observed is the existence of illegal oil refineries in the country. To what extent have you been able to check this trend?
That is tied to insecurity. It's a very unfortunate situation that we found on the ground. And we have also tried to work with the oil companies to try to stop this illegal refining. One of the ways we wanted to discourage it is actually to try to encourage investments in modular refineries. You know, we've enabled a lot of those modular refineries. We commissioned one last year, and a few are now lined up to be commissioned. And the other issue of the illegal refining activity is more of a security function. It is really not for us to achieve, because all we do is to liaise with security to ensure that we are able to tackle that menace, and we're already doing that.
A lot of people were expecting that private refineries must have started operation. And so, but we know Dangote refinery seems to be making headway. What are you doing about the private refineries? How soon can we see most of them come on stream?
Our job is to license the private refinery. That is the first thing we do. And we always license them. Whenever we see anyone that has merit, we license. It is up to the private refining investor to get the funding to set it up. We have tried to enable a lot of private refineries. The Dangote refinery, hopefully, you know, just to encourage the development of private refining capacity. Recently, you know that we even bought in as NNPC, as government, into the Dangote refinery, just to encourage the development of that refinery. So in 2022, which is next year, end of next year, we're expecting that that refinery will come on stream. There are a few other refineries that have also been licensed, and nobody will tell you that we withhold any, the licensing of any qualified refinery. Anyone that applies for refining license that is qualified, we always issue the refinery license. But of course, it is up to the private investor to look for the investors. And we on our part are doing quite a bit to encourage the development of private refineries in Nigeria. Recently also, Azikel refinery, a few other refineries, we have also tried to buy in, because the strategy of government is to actually enable the private refining capacity. And one of the ways we want to do that is to buy in, so that we take a stake as an encouragement to the investors. So recently, in addition to Dangote refinery, we have also taken stake in Azikel refinery. So we are actually expecting that there will be a lot more interest in developing private refineries in Nigeria.
Now, the Senate has commended the NNPC for anti-corruption efforts drive and towards profitability. How were you able to achieve this?
Of course, it's by trying to ensure that we entrench transparency in the activities of NNPC. In 44 years of existence, this is the first time the NNPC is declaring profit. And that was because we were able to entrench a lot of transparency into our activities. And that has been able to pay off.
Now, let's look at petroleum pricing. The major challenge is the prices never come down. And there is a likelihood that pump price of petroleum products are likely going to come up. So, Honorable Minister, can you tell us what is the ministry doing with regards to making sure the price of petroleum products come down for Nigerians? Is there any hope for this?
I don't know if that is our mandate. What we are saying under the PIA regime is that petroleum product will be sold according to what the market dictates. And therefore, we are not in position to determine the price anymore. What we want to do is to deregulate. Once we deregulate, that means to take out subsidy. It will be the market forces that will determine the prices. And that will be a function of demand and supply. We expect that with a lot of supply, then of course the price might come down. But it will be a function of demand and supply. And that is the way we want to we want to go, because that is what the law stipulates. We cannot now say we are going to try to bring down price of petroleum product. But what we want to do, in addition to deregulation, is to introduce another kind of fuel, the gas for cars, which is, of course, gas is a cheaper fuel. So we expect that people will now have a choice, either to drive their cars with petrol or to drive their cars with gas.
Honorable Minister, we produce oil in this country, but there is a trend. We move this oil outside the country to be refined, and we bring them back to sell. When will we, or what are the strategies already put in place for us to be able to remove this bottleneck?
That is happening because our refineries were not functioning. Now, to stop this, we have decided to rehabilitate our refineries.
And how is the rehabilitation coming up?
Very well. Port Harcourt refinery is being rehabilitated. The rehabilitation process is ongoing. We're going to inspect very soon. Kaduna is ongoing. Warri is ongoing. So once we are able to get all these refineries functioning, then we will not be required to take our crude for refining outside. In addition to these refineries, as you asked me, Dangote refinery is also coming on stream next year. So it's going to also be refining a lot of crude in country. And of course, all the other private efforts in developing refining capacity and also the modular refineries, all will now come into the loop to ensure that we're able to refine a lot of our crude in country, not only for the need of Nigeria, but even for export.
What are you doing concerning pipeline vandalization? And of course, the network of pipelines in the country seem to be quite complicated and huge. So what strategies are you putting in place to, one, forestall pipeline vandalization, and of course, increase the network?
Well, like I said before, first, this is a security activity. It is not necessarily our activity. But what we are trying to do is to stop pipeline vandalization. What we now realized, as government, as NMPC, we have pipelines, and we are not able to secure these pipelines because we have so many other things to do, and we don't have the manpower to secure the kilometers of pipeline. So what we are doing is to try to privatize the pipelines. So we are now getting people to take over this pipeline. And that is what the midstream and downstream authority is supposed to enable. So now we want to give out these pipelines to private people to manage. So now those people will see the pipeline as their core business. Because for us, the pipeline is not our core business. So, you know, you will not have the manpower to be able to monitor the whole pipeline. So what we are now doing is to give out all the pipelines to private people who will see this as their core business and run those pipelines as a business and secure them.
Looking at policy formulation and implementation, Nigerians are very concerned about sustainability of policies and continuity. This government, of course, by 2023, will be rounding up. What is the assurance that the innovative ideas that this ministry has come up with will be sustained and there will be some level of continuity?
Well, that is why the law is in place now. A lot of the things we are doing are contained within the PIA. For example, you talk about deregulation. It is now a law. So nobody, when we are able to deregulate, nobody can come and turn the hands of the clock back. And Now the NNPC by law is a private, it's now a karma company. It is no longer a government parastatal. Nobody can reverse that. The DPR has now been wound down, and the successor agencies are now the Upstream Regulatory Commission and the Midstream and Downstream Regulatory Authority. Nobody can reverse that because it is law. So what we have done to ensure continuity and sustainability is to codify our innovations in the form of a law so that nobody can come tomorrow and reverse the progress that has been made.